But here's the thing. Those who are anchored in Jesus Christ, when the instability begins to happen, when the storms begin to blow, we stay steady. We are not shaken, tossed to and fro like a wave. We're staying in Jesus Christ. So we have to have that stability in our life as well. We have to look for that stability in the things that we do. So if we've got a misguided mind or a misguided way of thinking, then we have to figure out, how do I control my thoughts? And I think this is something we all as Christians must continue to work at, is controlling our thoughts. You know, we don't realize how dangerous our thoughts are. Where does every action begin? In our thoughts. Whether it's a good action or a bad action, it begins in our thoughts. We have to think of it first. And then once we've thought of it, then we proceed to go to action. But we have to control our thoughts. We have to be stable in all of our ways. We have to understand, what is my way of thinking? What is my point of reference? What direction am I headed in? You know, Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8 says, "Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, pure, lovely, of good report, if there is any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things." In other words, if it's not like this, leave it alone. If it doesn't help you grow spiritually, leave it alone. If it doesn't help you to develop a Christian home, leave it alone. If it doesn't help you grow spiritually as a Christian yourself, it's not of God. You say, but all of these things are happening in my life, and all these things happen in my world, and I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy doing that. Well, if you enjoy doing this, and it is not benefiting your family, it is not helping you grow spiritually, and it is not drawing you any closer to God, it is a waste of your time. Now, we have to learn to control our thoughts. What does that mean? That means if I enjoy this particular thing in my life, we enjoy camping. How can camping be beneficial to my family? It's what we do when we're camping together, how we grow as a family, and take the lessons that we see in God's creation and bring it to the attention of our children. You know, we can take the things that we enjoy doing and give them spiritual purpose, if our thoughts are right. Don't just take what you like, go do it and say, well, we had a spiritual good time, we prayed before we ate our supper. There's got to be more than that. I love bowling. I love bowling. And bowling can be a spiritual outreach. You say, how in the world? Well, think about it. Anybody can bowl. Not everybody can bowl good, but anybody can bowl, right? Great opportunity. There's a new couple in town. This couple is not in church. This couple is, they live a pretty good life, but it's kind of, sketchy. My wife and I decide, you know what? We're going to invite them to go bowling with us. And while we're bowling, we begin a conversation that leads into understanding more about where they are, where they're from, what their background is. We begin to spiritually make an impact, inviting them to church. You see how that works? We can take the things of the world that we enjoy doing and use them in spiritual ways. But it all begins in our thought process. We have to think, how can this benefit the kingdom of God? What would Jesus do in this situation? I wonder sometimes, I can't help it. It's just the way I am. How many times did Jesus and the disciples go along and, it was Jesus and Peter and James and John, just those guys were hanging out. And, they go by these kids playing ball. And you see the commercials sometimes where the kid kicks the ball and it goes way off on the side over there and the adult picks it up and throws it back. Wonder how many times Jesus picked up the ball and said, hey, Come on, guys, let's go have some fun. And went over and played soccer with these kids. And then later got to tell them a story about how encouraging it is when others take time out for other people who are less fortunate than they are. I wonder how many stories in the Bible God never reported because He wanted us to think, how can I be like Jesus and turn the situation around? How many times did you hear your dad say, why don't you use that head for something else other than a hat rack? Some of you can relate. Why did Dad say that? He wanted us to think it through. Think about our actions. Think about what this is going to happen. Think about, if I do this, what is going to be the end result? God does the same thing as us as Christians. We have to think about what we're doing and what direction is it headed in. Is it benefiting the kingdom of God? Is it helping enrich my Christian life? Is it helping me to grow in Christ? If not, I've got to change my way of thinking. I have to think differently about it. Misappropriate motives. Misappropriate motives challenge God's word. You know, not just our thoughts, but our motives. What's driving our thinking? What's driving us? What is our motivation? What motivates us to get up and to do and to go about our daily activities? You see, 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 5, all of our thoughts and actions should be run past Christ. God should approve, Jesus should approve our actions before we do it. It says, for the weapons of warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God, for pulling down strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. Now think about this for a minute. All of my thoughts, all of my imaginations, and all of these things are brought to an area, are brought before Jesus Christ. You see, my thoughts need to run past my heart before they are acted upon. You see, my mind comes up with all kinds of crazy ideas. But it is my heart. It is that area of the Spirit. It is that area where I take it before Jesus and say, what would you have me do? What do you think about this? You know, sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll run it past my wife. Or sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll run it past one of the deacons. Or, you know, I'll have an idea and I want to run it past somebody. I want to see what somebody else thinks about it. But the one thing that I must worry about the most is what does Jesus think about it? You know, in my mind, it sounds like a good idea sometimes. But when I run it past Jesus, He says, what about this? Or what about that? What about the long term? What about, is this going to cost you? What happens if this happens? We need to run our thoughts past Christ. Mark chapter 23 and verse 12 says that we are not to promote ourselves. Matthew chapter 23 verse 12 says, and whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. You see, is our motive to draw attention to ourselves? Many times we think we're on the right road. We're going to do something good for somebody, but the reason we're doing something good for somebody is so that other people will notice us or so that other people will see Christ. What is our motive? What is our purpose? Why are we doing these things? I'm on the right road. I'm living a good life. I take care of my wife. I do all of these things the way that I'm supposed to, but I even go to church twice a week instead of once a week. I'm doing really, really good. My wife ought to be happy for me. Who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for your wife or are you doing it for Christ? No, what's your purpose? Why are you here? Are you pleasing Him or are you pleasing somebody else? If you're pleasing yourself or you're pleasing somebody else and you're not pleasing Jesus Christ, then you're here for the wrong reason. I hate to say it. And if that's the reason you came, don't leave. Because if you get up now, we'll know why you're leaving. Even if you are going to the bathroom. see, as a child of God, as a born-again Christian, as one who has put our life and trust in Jesus Christ, we are a new creature. We have been made new. Quit thinking like your old creature. If you are a new creature in Jesus Christ, think new. Don't think old. What would Jesus have me to do? You know, I'm not going to get into all that WWJD and all that stuff. I mean, you know, it became more of a fashion than anything else. But the actual question, what would Jesus do in this situation or that situation? You know, what is my motive? Why do I do these things? Therefore, put to death your members which are in the earth. Fornication, uncleanness, passion, evil desire, covetousness, which is idolatry. You know, these worldly thoughts, these worldly ideas, these worldly actions that were normal to us before salvation. But after salvation, we're a new creature. We've been made new. We've got to think different. We've got to have a different motivation of why we do what we do. The last point is maintain faithful focus. Maintaining a faithful focus eliminates double-mindedness. Maintaining a faithful focus eliminates double-mindedness. We must become more stable. We looked at that in James chapter 1, verse 8. Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. One thing we've got to do is we've got to find some stability. Where is stability coming from? You know, that's one thing that your wife looks for. Your wife looks for stability. Men, you can buy her all kinds of stuff. You can take her all kinds of places. But if you can't offer her stability, you're lacking. She wants stability. She wants to know that she's safe. She wants to know that she's okay. People admire stable. I mean, leaders with stability are what people look for. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. We must serve one master. The beginning of our stability comes, and who are we going to serve? No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and the world. You can't be torn between the two. You can't straddle the fence. Will now understands what it means to straddle the fence. We were out dove hunting the other day and he shot. Feathers went everywhere. The bird kept flying. I mean, that bird's got a safety vest on or something. So we go to find the bird. We had to cross the barbed wire fence. Somebody got their pants hung. And Will had to help me get loose. So he now understands what we mean by straddling the fence. You know, and it's the same way in our spiritual life. We can't serve God and the world. God and the world. Because eventually, we're going to get snagged. We're going to have to make a choice. We're going to have to choose. Am I going to choose Christ? Or am I going to choose Him? I can't keep flopping back and forth. I can't keep straddling the fence. James chapter 4 and verse 8. We've got to wash the old away like washing the dirt from our hands. James chapter 4 verse 8 says, draw near to God and He'll draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinner, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. In other words, clean it up. Clean yourself up. Wash the old away like dirt. Say, God, no longer do I want to serve the world. God, no longer do I want to serve myself. I want to serve you and you only. I want to surrender myself. You know, it's hard for us to surrender sometimes. Surrender is a big thing. Because a lot of the times in our mind, when we think surrender, we think give up, we think empty, we think lose control. But when we surrender to God, we become stronger. We become more stable, in control, more useful to those around. All because we surrender. Surrender is not a sign of weakness. Surrender is a sign of strength in one who is higher than I. And we have to come to a point to where we surrender ourselves to be washed, if you would. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 8 says, just go in the right way. You know, we've got the right road, we just got to go in the right way. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. You see, one thing we as believers, we as Christians must understand, the work that we do for Christ, the surrender that we surrender to Christ, the humbleness that we humble ourselves before Jesus Christ, God says will be noticed. It may be done in private, it may be done in secret, it may be done in a way that nobody else knows what you've done. Because the attention was not drawn to you, the attention and all the glory goes to God, but God says, I'll bless you. I need you on the right road, but I need you going in the right direction. I need you to focus on me. Focus on Jesus. Focus on me and go the right road. Don't focus on the things around you. Don't focus on your circumstances. Jesus says, if you focus on me, I'll take care of that other stuff. Put your trust in me and I'll take care of the rest of your life. Jesus wants you to go in the right way, on the right way. He's given us the right road. The road leads to Him. What way are you traveling that highway? Are you traveling that highway as a lost individual that knows I need to do good? What do I do with Jesus? Or maybe you got a relationship with Jesus, you just don't know what to do about everything around you. In either situation, it comes back to Jesus. Stay on the road and focus on Jesus. Tell you anyone know what we're saying? 320. Stand together, we'll sing hymn 320. The altar is open for you. Any business you need to do with the Lord this morning? First invitation, then we'll take care of the remainder of our